Hi. What do you want me to say? Just to introduce the film or myself?
Yourself.
Oh, hey. I didn't hear. It's the mask. I didn't hear.
Steven
Hi, I'm Nick
Spielberg.
Lyon. I'm the director of Titanic 666, as we call it, T666.
I'm Paul Bales. I'm producer of Titanic 666 and also one of the partners at the Asylum, the studio that made this movie.
I'm Glenn Campbell. I was a visual effects supervisor. I have not had a day off in the last month.
Oh my God, you're so fired. You are so fired.
Oh no, the show is it's enormous. It's all Asylum films are made on a relatively short basis, but this one, we had more time, we had more people, but it was very ambitious. And these guys, the original work print, cut in actual shots from the real Titanic movie. And I'm looking at it going, did you just promise them shots that look like that? So we had to step up our game, and we did. We actually,
My plan worked.
yeah, I can honestly say when we were going through the edit, there were still some shots left over from the real Titanic, and we couldn't tell. We were like, "Is that one of ours? Oh, that's one of.
Yeah.
Okay, we haven't done that one yet." So we're feeling pretty good.
How many visual effects are in this
There are
movie?
460 shots.
Wow.
Not really. I mean, other than that, it's the Titanic. It's it's the Queen Mary, which is pretty much the same ship, you know. So we shot on the haunted ship, and it was very, you know, like with a small crew, long distances, you know, like walking all day. He complains about not working, sleeping for a month. Yeah, I shot it in shorter, but still. But no, it wasn't really, the story wasn't really anything to do with the, other than it does have a little bit at the beginning, but it's its own story. Because actually there's the new Titanic II that's really being launched.
Well, this is the
anything,
Titanic
This is
3.
Titanic 3.
And this is the Titanic III, but there's the real cruise ship that's launching this year called the Titanic II, where they're doing a remake of it, and it has like, you know, people dressed, they have people dressed in original costumes and everything, so that's a tourist thing. And so this is kind of like that as the starting point, but they're going to the spot where the actual Titanic sunk.
And everything turns out fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's all.
yeah.
That's all.
No, it's for the visual effects. The shooting time was maybe like a day more, or maybe 2 days more, but that's not saying much because the shoots are usually like really short and fast. So, you know, I think in all we only shot this in, can I say?
Yeah,
I mean,
say.
all right, we shot it 2 days.
Little shop of horrors.
So it was double.
That's why he has so much visual effects work to do. No, it was 11 days of actual physical, and then we did 3 days of stage green screen for visual effects.
Pick up people in the pool.
Yeah,
that-
well,
and that is-
with the ghosts and everything.
That is more than double what we usually
Yeah.
shoot.
I
these
won't do
movies
most
in.
of theirs. No, usually it's like 10 or 11. So I mean, it wasn't an easy one to shoot because there was a lot going on, a lot of story. It was like a lot of crowd scenes and big ballroom scenes, and you know, with a small crew, it's tough, you know, because you have ballrooms to light at night. It's a nighttime shoot on the Queen Mary, and I don't know if you like walked. I think I clocked maybe 25,000 steps per day shooting because it
So
was
we
just
helped
like.
you.
Now, had the Queen Mary been
No, it
decommissioned at that point? So you guys,
No, there was other stuff shooting there, but we got on. Yeah.
But in terms of a hotel, I don't
Yeah.
think it.
There's
I
not
think
Oh
a
no,
hotel
there was
anymore.
no hotel. Nobody was staying there.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, shout out to the city of Long Beach for allowing us to do the production because it really is key. Because the Queen Mary, I believe, was a sister ship of the Titanic, and you know, it's so similar. You know, just adds so much production value, and it's a ship that's just there. And I hope that somebody is able to save it because
I hear that they might.
you know, it's a amazing
It's
historical.
really cool. There is history, and it was one of the funnest things, like, because Lydia Hearst is in the movie, and we're sitting there in like the biggest suite on the Queen Mary, which is like the governor's suite or something like that. She's like, "Oh, this was my grandparents' suite." And I'm like, "What? Really?" And that was her grandparents' suite. That's where they always would travel on it, which was kind of neat, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
That's not beautiful. It's horrific. People are
I
dying.
did. No, I thought that was beautiful too, and it reminded me of the James Bond movies
Yeah, well,
too, where
we were making jokes going, we're just doing Bond titles.
I thought that was cool.
we called it the Bond title sequence in visual effects.
It's
yeah.
good.
But yes, the is it hell? Yeah, good question. No, it's a nice shock effect at the beginning. You know, is what it really is intended to be. I would say I wouldn't take it all too literally. It's a movie, but it's supposed to be like a shock moment, and
But
it's supposed to be
also
her
a call out to the Cameron film.
Yeah, but it you know, I mean, it is, yeah, call out to the beginning.
It's Jack saying, there was room for me on the raft.
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't 100 years later. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't 100 years later. So
woke it up on the wrong side of the bed
Yeah.
when he was
yeah,
Might have done the same.
He's angry that the ship sank, and he pulls his fiancée to his one. Honestly, at first, when I heard it, I was kind of like, I thought it was like funny, like a whole ship full of like social media, you know, influencers that are getting sunk and killed. I thought that was like a cool thing, and then I read it and I was like, oh, this is actually a little bit more, you know, after reading it, the first impression was like, oh, a ship full of influencers getting tormented by ghosts,
That's what I thought it was.
which is kind of funny. I mean, it's like a great like initial like, oh, I'm interested, and then it became about like making it as scary as possible, you know. But that's why, like, you know, like Annalyn McCord's character, I really wanted her to play it up to be, because she's the main, and I think she did a great job. And we kind of worked together, and like I let her kind of go off sometimes off the rails a little bit, and wanted her to do the, you know, the, what is it, vocal fry, you know, the whole talk. Ooh.
Wow, that's a good one.
Do I have a favorite villain?
In this movie.
I mean,
we're not
you know
talking
what?
about
I think
Avatar.
Jamie Bamber as Cochrane. I think he kills it. He absolutely does a great job of being.
And in the development,
His acting is just really so.
he was
good too.
meant as the villain. He was meant to be the villain.
But he's a good villain because he doesn't think of himself as a villain. He doesn't get up checklists, pull wings off flies, push old ladies, steal candy from babies. He honestly thinks, look, I'm selling this stuff. I don't see any problem with this. So that makes him a good villain, because he's not like, aha, I looted the thing. It's like,
Right.
I don't understand why this is happening.
And he's
that
kind of
makes it
the one that's
interesting.
the most villainous. You know, I mean, really, I mean, if you call it a villain, I mean, he's just not supposed to be likable.
But he also, and I thought this was really interesting, he's British. And he said, I don't want to do a British accent, because then it's the typical evil British, because all of the British are evil.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Can I ask your lawyer if I can say that? But so, and that was his choice, which I thought was very smart.
I didn't know he was British. I mean, I'd only seen him in Galactica.
No,
I
he's
had no
British.
clue
He was British
until-
in that too.
No,
He
he's
was?
totally British.
No. But yeah, I had no clue, and said, oh, I'll be done.
No, but he gave every scene like full on, and you know, honestly, like Joe Gatt, I really love. I like everybody in it. I
British.
can't like say one. They're British actors, yeah. Anna Lynn's American. Lydia
Oh, no,
Hurst.
she's British.
Actually, I have to say I like Lydia Hurst. Almost, yeah. That's a good one, because she does such a cool job. She's like really good. I like what she does in the whole thing with the ritual.
She
and
commits.
everything.
And
She totally
some
commits.
of your readers and viewers might know her from a TV series we did called Z Nation, where she also plays just a really creepy. I mean, she's the sweetest person, so nice, but she's just got a talent for playing creepy women I would date.
We're doing it in-house, but we hired, normally we have about 5 people on staff, and we usually get about 85 to 120 shots, and we can usually handle that. This show, like I said, ballooned up to 480, and it's like, oh, let me just do the math here. Well, we're in trouble. So so I called in some stalwarts. We have people that we work with from time to time, and we have large shows. So we had a total staff of 12 on this one. In fact, one of the guys worked on Jim Cameron's Titanic. He was the first person I called. I said, you still have the model, don't you? But he did, but I didn't get it from him. I actually bought one from Turbo Square that was even better. But he was the first person I called, just going, just FYI.
No, nobody got sick, but like I said, 25,000 steps a day, because it was like long hallways, nighttime, getting out on the deck. Strange things did happen, kind of like all of a sudden a whole camera tips over in the middle of a ballroom, or lights go out, or there's a haunted room down on the bottom that several people had some definite strange experiences. And I mean, like, and I could swear there's some real ghosts in the movie that are walking in the background. I don't remember these two.
The biggest thing that we're really proud of it is the send-off in New York, because we didn't have a lot of plates of the harbor area, so we made it synthetically. There's not one real frame in any of the shots when you see the Titanic and the crowds, other than the green screen people in the foreground going, "Yay, there they go to die." Everything else...
That is a spoiler.
But everything else is completely synthetic. So we're very proud of that sequence.
No, really? Well, if it's any consolation, when everybody's sinking at the end and there's all the people screaming, like we had an emergency email that came out from the sound mixer saying, "Guys, we don't have enough panic in melee," and my wife's pregnant and we were having a baby shower the next day, so I had like 30 people screaming like they're singing on the Titanic, and I recorded it right there, and that's in the movie. So there you go.
It's so beautiful.
First one, they had this magnificent makeup on set when he shot the actors. We thought they looked swell, and then the decision was made to augment it.
We also didn't have enough because the time on shooting on the Queen Mary is like, it's an expensive set. And so we were like, okay, we didn't really, I mean, if it was a zombie film or something, like I would have shot everything, but then we're like, okay, they're ghosts, so how do we make the ghosts look real? It's gonna be time consuming. So we said, okay, we're gonna do this in the post. And then we had different iterations of, the makeup didn't change that much, but it was like we did a bunch of people. And I had them at the beginning, like kind of doing like this, we had like, that they could control things, but then we said, let's make it so that they just do it with their faces. But then the sound of the roaring and stuff, the screaming, and so the elongated faces with that, it just looked cool and creepy to make it creepier.
We had several iterations, too long, not enough, so how wide does the mouth go? So we're looking at that picture of the scream, they're like, that one.
Yeah, so we had to have them like on set just saying, okay, now open your mouth and scream as loud as you can, so you had the people like doing that because we knew we were going to like stretch their faces out. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
This is like speed dating. We have to go to another.
Well, thank you guys.